Welcome, welcome. So lovely to see you all. One of the things I wanted to mention today is that I just became aware of a New York Times article that we have put in the chat for those of you who want to track it down. It's called something like The Essential Skills for Being Human. And the article is all about the power of attention. So I thought, yes, we're having an influence on the greater collective, and I'm so happy to see attention given to attention. And one of my colleagues was saying, "Hey, didn't you write your dissertation on attention?" And I said, "Yes, I did back in 1982." And I've been fascinated with the nutrient, the power, the connection that comes from focusing on how we use our attention. And I think it's an essential skill right now because there are so many pulls on our attention. And one of the basic things I find with loop of awareness and with love scoops, but particularly with loop of awareness, is that it breaks up my attention habits, so that if I have a habit of sort of being captured by what's going on outside of me, I can learn to give attention to me, and being able to choose not only where I put my attention, but how I'm putting my attention on both me and the world. And that's really what we explore here are the facets of attention. And for those of you who may not know, we have recordings of these meetings. So if there's a particular skill that you want to look at or something that we explored that you want to review, all those recordings are available on the Foundation for Conscious Living. So I think particularly right now, when there is so much chaos and polarization, I also find that shifting my attention allows me to connect with others. And regardless of who they are or what their background is, when we give and receive attention, it weaves our connections with each other, not just individually, not just in pairs, but as a collective. So as humans, one of, I think, the most loving things that we can do is to give our attention to others. And what scientists are finding is even just a little bit of giving your attention is a nutrient for you, is a nutrient for somebody who may even be a stranger. So it's one of the things that I practice when I'm out in the world. So what was occurring to me also is that the main way that we lose our connection with our attention is when we get connected to adrenaline. And that adrenaline that most people are using as a fuel, oh, it means that you have to go faster all the time and more intense in order to get that same hit from the adrenaline. But when you're simply shifting your attention and letting your attention particularly be shifting appreciation, if you move from adrenaline to appreciation, what I find is that my whole pace slows down and I actually am able to receive what I'm exchanging with others. And so, one of the things I wanted to really focus on today is the pace at which you shift your attention. So, just let yourself notice if you weren't trying to mess with it or make it any different. If you're giving attention out here, to what I'm saying or to other people on the call, and then you're giving attention to you, what's the pace of that? So if you were to count it, if it were a dance, what kind of a dance would it be? Would it be a waltz? Probably not. Would it be like you're on the mosh pit down on, when the Gypsy Kings are playing? So what's the pace of your attention? I realize when I get more anxious, my pace speeds up. And sometimes I lose the shift. So, what I want to have you experiment with are some rhythms of shifting your pace that are most nourishing to you. And there might be a range. We talk about what we call essence pace, like the way that you move through the world that allows you to be aware of you and to be aware of others. But what if that were also true for the way you shifted your attention? Maybe there's an essence pace for the way you shift your attention. And I'd love for you to let yourself play with letting your attention move out, just noticing what's around you, and letting it move to you, noticing something that's going on within you, and let yourself play with different paces of letting your attention shift. So if I get mine too fast, like let yourself play with shifting, then shifting, then shifting, then shifting. What drops out for me is actually landing. I might be able to shift, but my attention doesn't actually land. So if you play with really fast and then notice how you experience that, and then let yourself play with really slow, like I'm shifting, and then I'm shifting. And that might be also too, when I'm too slow, the flow of my energy kind of gets interfered with. So one of the images that was coming to me was imagining being like in my backyard. I have a particular swing that it's a wooden swing. It's a kind of a large wooden swing, and it has the most lovely rock. It has the most lovely pace. And so I actually want to invite you to let yourself imagine that you are on a porch swing that you really like. It may have a squeak that you really enjoy. It may have a particular. So this swing, when it comes out, there's almost a little pause and then it swings back. And when I'm on that, what I experience is settling into myself in the most friendly, delicious way. And so I'd like you to let your attention swing out and then swing back. And when it swings back to you, let it land someplace in you where you would like to actually land. And notice that if it allows you to spread out into yourself. And when you let your attention go out with that particular pace, and particularly if you're letting it move back and forth, I find if I'm moving at a pace that's most delicious, I feel my breath expanding. I feel my energy relaxing. So the porch swing, and you might even see it's possible to send your attention out with your eyes closed. So just try that on for a moment. So you're just energetically, you're on the swing and you're sending your attention out and you're letting your attention come back to you. And I also find when I'm doing this that my breath slows down and I can feel more expansion when I come back to me. My breath expands in ways that allow me to really settle, to find my home in myself. I want us to feel at home in ourselves and at home in the world. And I find that playing with pace makes a huge difference. So eyes open or eyes closed. Let your attention travel on your swing and travel back to you and travel out. And as you're doing that, let your body go ahead and respond in whatever way. Like I find my body wanting to wiggle a little bit. I feel my sides of my body wanting to stretch. So notice how your body wants to move into the space that you're creating. Because another aspect of this practice is as I'm finding my essence pace of moving my attention, I move into my whole body. So instead of just being up in my head or out ahead of myself, I drop into this wonderful whole body experience of giving and receiving attention that can really come from the whole of me, not just my eyes. When I was meditating this morning, my cat Allie comes and sits by me, and she knows when I'm coming to meditate because my whole attention shifts. And that's very attractive to her. So here's another thing that can happen is as you're shifting into essence pace, the not only your other people, but animals, birds, plants, butterflies will recognize your presence. And your presence is such a nutrient, not just for you, but as you're going by people, as you're at the store, as you're moving around in the world, as you're opening up to that pace, it gives you that sense of presence that you can share with others. So I'd love it for you to just let yourself take a few times of practicing being on your swing. And I noticed that my breathing had been a little bit up in my chest and it's now settled. And so now I'd love for you to include letting that swing, like when you're coming back to yourself, you can take that right on into a loop of awareness. I'm sorry, into a love scoop. So as you're swinging, you can include anywhere in your body that would like that attention with a love scoop. And as you've been swinging, you're creating that presence around you. And you can bring that in with touch, which is another wonderful way to connect in a rhythm that allows you to presence. And it can be in the front of you, in the back of you, it could be your knees, anywhere that your body would like the warmth of your own presence. So the swinging your attention. Now you could add a little spritzer of appreciation to that if you wanted to add a little something. Or just simply presence. The great power of open presence. When I do this, what also drops out is worry thoughts and agendas and getting ahead of myself and lists. And for that period of time, I drop into presence, just pure presence. And then that gets to fill me up, fill up my reservoir. And then I'm also available for sharing my reservoir with others. So this practice is something that we sample here. And because we have, 15 minutes to do this, we can really get a saturation. I was just thinking of how my husband Gay makes coffee for me in the morning, is that he has the grounds. He's a drip man. He likes to grind his own beans and then pour the water through. If you pour it through too fast, you don't get good coffee. If you pour it at a certain pace, it occupies all the beans. It gets all effervescent, and then that effervescence comes into the coffee. So you could also think of yourself as a presence drip machine that you're soaking up all that presence, and then that presence is available for others. So giving to you, giving to others, and there's always plenty. So here's the other thing I find, especially when I give myself that leisurely time in a pace that allows me to welcome myself, is that I can come home to that anytime. And just a couple of minutes of practicing being on the swing will refresh that pace for you. and bring you out of the kind of frantic, there's a lot of franticness going on in the world right now. And so giving ourselves that gift of presence then also becomes available for others, also people that we may not even meet. So as you're shifting your attention, you can shift it to anywhere, any place, and any people that you would like to give the presence of your attention. Because I have found that my attention is not limited by time and space. So you can give attention to anywhere in the world that you're feeling that more presence and love could be of assistance. Ah, yes. So thank you. That just felt wonderful. And now I'm going to turn to our Presence Connect play. And Presence says, breathe easy. So we have all kinds of instructions for breathing, and all of which can assist you to expand your presence. But I just love the breathe easy. So anywhere that you're breathing hard or that you're breathing effortfully, what would it be like to just for a few minutes let yourself breathe easy? And where's the easy place in your body? Where in your body do you feel easy? Letting yourself breathe into that easy and letting that ease ripple through the rest of your body. And then connect is open posture. How often we forget during the day, working on a computer, looking at our screens, our bodies tend to narrow and to collapse. So open posture is not only this direction, it's also in the vertical. So if you've got your shoulders forward, that's that. And then when you combine that with your easy breath, you've got open posture and easy breath. You can connect more with you, but also you're available for connecting with the world and connecting with others. And then play is let go. We forget that letting go is a wonderful aspect of play, because if you've got kids, I was just remember picking up toys and to go back into the toy chest, and I've got my hands all full of toys. I can't play because there's no space to play. So I have to let go of a whole bunch of stuff I'm holding on to in order to have access to what's coming in to be able to play. So let yourself just notice something going on for you right now that you'd be willing to let go of. And I'd like you to gather it up, just like you were gathering up a bunch of, toys or stuff or debris, or trash or things that are around the house. And like you to notice how you hold on to it when you think, I might need this, or, I'll finish this up and then I'll go on to something else. So over the period of a day, you probably get a lot of things accumulated on you, like lint, that gets on your clothing. So gathering it all up. And then what would be the most fun, easiest, most friendly way of letting go? I'm just thinking of mine as like confetti. Whoosh, off it goes. So what are some other ways that you might let go? You could toss it. You could toss it out into some place where it could be useful. You could toss it into the compost. You could open the lid and just compost the whole thing. So those were fun. That's a fun combination. One of the things I like about Presence Connect Play is that the different combinations create different weaves. And so each time I get new openings and new possibilities for Presence Connect Play. And so I invite you, anytime that you're feeling like meh, or, at a kind of at a stopping place, Presence Connect Play is such a refresher to open you to the possibilities of moving through life with enjoyment. So much love to you all. I'm going to take my leave now. And thanks again, Darlene, for focalizing today. Michelle has been out visiting relatives up in Portland and is on her way back. And I'm so happy she had a great time visiting her son and friends. And so And it also lets me know, we've been doing this for coming up on 4 years now, and I I know it's just and I just really love it, and so please invite people that you want to share presence with that, might enjoy just this, 15, 20 minutes of being with people where our intention is to connect and loop love. All right, so I'm going to take my leave and please stay and converse and share and look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah. Bye now.